Hello and welcome to Pest in Class, expert voices in pest management. Today we speak with Denise Trad-Wartan, CEO of Trad's Pest Control in Jacksonville, Florida. We discuss how FieldRoutes streamlines operations to help businesses run more efficiently, while also highlighting the people and culture that truly define a company's success. I'm your host, Amanda Salvatore. Let's get into it. Denise Trad-Wartan, you are the CEO of Trad's Pest Control in Jacksonville, Florida. And today we're going to be talking about how FieldRoutes streamlines operations while company culture defines your business. Welcome to the show. Thank you for coming on.
Thank you for having me. I'm honored.
Oh, I am so excited to get into it with you. We've had a few discussions before, so I know this is going to go very smoothly. On Pest in Class, we always like to start with a little bit of an icebreaker, and I know you are a lover of books. So what is a book that completely changed your perspective on something?
One of the most impactful books that I read is called Accountability, and it's by a man named Greg Buston. And I heard him speak at a Vistage meeting, and it really spoke to my heart and my brain. I use a lot of his principles. It's all dog-eared and sitting in my office. I like to read books that are challenging and that really challenge my ideas, give me different perspectives. I mean, there has to be 1,000 books in my house. So
I love that. I have a goal this year of reading more books. I did a lot of reading a few years ago, and I really enjoyed it, and it became a passionate hobby of mine. If you have a list, send them my way, because I feel like I've been out of touch in in what's new and what's exciting. So if there's any recommendations, please let me know.
I'm happy to share a list. Believe me.
Excellent. Excellent. Well, I would love to talk more books, but let's talk pest. How did you find yourself in this industry?
You know, we talk about journeys, and I think it was more of like a trip and fall into it for pest control. I never in my life woke up and said, I'm going to be in pest control when I grow up, you know. But it's my family's business. And after college, I stayed in Atlanta and worked for a property development company. It didn't charge my batteries the way it needed to if it was going to be my life. So I moved home looking for different opportunities, and my parents asked me to step in and help them out. They were growing, but they were not profitable, and they couldn't figure out why. And I realized I had learned so much at the property development company, and I applied a lot of that. To my surprise and to their surprise, I really loved it, and we were successful. And just being able to work with the people and really help and guide people and grow the business was hugely, hugely satisfying. So that was in 1990, and I've been here ever since. Aging myself, but
that's okay. That's a huge, long career. I would love to know what is something that you implemented when you first arrived that you really feel shifted the trajectory of the business?
You know, pest control today is not what pest control was 40 years ago. Very, very different industry. We had an awful lot of accidents and injuries at that time, and we tracked it. And I thought to myself, this isn't right. There's just something amiss here. So we made a series of changes. And one of the things is we were one of the first companies in our town to really insist that our people wear uniforms and PPE. And 40 years ago, I mean, nobody even knew what PPE was. We all knew the label said to wear gloves or wear long sleeve shirts, but there were very few companies that actually did that. And it was, to me, it's about not just professionalism, but how you care for your people. We went drug-free when it was still a pretty contentious thing to do, because we felt like the commitment to the community was that we were not going to put anybody impaired behind the wheel of our vehicles, because we have to make a commitment to keep the community safe. It seems basic now, but it wasn't then. No.
Sometimes small changes in operations and how you carry yourself while you're conducting business really help in the long term.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
So I'd love to pivot to CRMs. You are really passionate about FieldRoutes, I know, and it seems to be really benefiting the business. But I'd love to hear about your journey into discovering FieldRoutes and what drew you originally to the software.
So sometimes something is not right or not serving you, sometimes in so many different aspects of our lives, that you need something to run to. And I went to a conference and I met the FieldRoutes. It was PestRoutes then. I said, this is what we need. And we had been on one of the older legacy platforms for a long time, well over a decade. And it just was holding us back. And customers would call and we couldn't help the customers in the way that we could hear our customers asking us. Sometimes, honestly, Amanda, it's like basic things. What day, what time? And we weren't able to really help customers the way we needed to. There were a lot of manual processes that we couldn't break out of just because of the software was just not up to the task. And then when we went to FieldRoutes, it was remarkable. And it's not only because at that time, and still now, it's fresh and they keep it fresh. It's not like a Frankenstein that they just keep glomming new parts onto. It's the way that they ask people, what do we need to do next? What are your pain points? So that the team can solve for it. And they're very responsive. And it's the way that there's multiple ways of doing one thing, like scheduling, depending on how the company is structured or that particular service or the way that particular person on the team thinks through the schedule. The ease of use, the automations, it's a tremendous platform. And I am passionate about it because when everybody succeeds, everybody succeeds.
I love that. Yes, yes, yes. So when you first saw the software, you're asking about it, you have this 10 minutes. What was the thing that really struck you in that pitch? What was the thing that you were like, yes, absolutely, I am in?
With the legacy software we had been using, we knew it took us 45 minutes to enter a new customer into the system for everything that we needed, which is painful. And it hinders, time. Yes, and it hinders your growth as a company, right? When the person demonstrated it, it was about 15 minutes. And I kept saying, okay, that's it. That is it. We brought it back to the team and we did our onboarding, which was incidentally the easiest, fastest, most hiccup-free onboarding we had ever done with any packet, any software. And we told the inside team, we call them CSS, customer service and sales. We told them that for the first month, we would use both platforms just to make sure data was secure and they were comfortable and we had everything, all the I's dotted and the T's crossed. And after about 10 days, they came into my office, the whole group, and they said, please don't make us keep doing both. FieldRoutes is so easy to use. And we got it. And they loved it. And it's very intuitive. So we switched and that was it.
I know that the onboarding process sometimes can really be intimidating. And it sounds like it was really effortless for you guys. I love to hear that.
Yes, we had I still know her, Amber White. I don't know if I'm allowed to say that, but she's a phenom and she helped us. And everybody has different platforms and sometimes it's honestly just drudgery. And this was just easy. And we had a great time.
I love that. I love to hear it. What year did you guys start with the company?
It was either 2017 or 2018. I know we set a goal in 2018 to go all digital and to do away with paper. Digital communication with customers. We set a 3-year goal to make this happen. And then COVID happened and we had been on then FieldRoutes, now FieldRoutes. And we made that transition in like 3 months.
Wow.
So the combination of COVID and, all of that, and the capability that was there, that was so easy and effortless also for customers, it just all came together. And we have never looked back, and our customers are actually happier.
That's wonderful to hear, because that's the ultimate goal, is to have happy customers and to be
Absolutely.
efficient, right?
Absolutely.
I want to talk about this capability a little bit. When you first started, what were some of the features that really changed the game for you and what we're looking forward to? So let's start with what are some of the widgets or applications that you used that really have transformed how you did business?
So the widgets are amazing. It's a beautiful visual. And if someone's not super visual and they'd rather see a list, it's just a click of a button to get the list. So the widgets, they're very customizable to the user. So for me, you can just move them around. You can just drag them around and put them in the order in which you want to see them. So I'm looking at different widgets than my service manager or my sales manager. The inside team is looking at their own widgets, and the widgets are things like AR collected and between what dates and what percentage in dollars are collected, and how many dollars in percentage is in 30, 60, 90. What's the percentage of auto pays? What are the number of stops per route? What's the completion for services due this month? What is the total completion? So there's a lot of widgets, and we love those. So there's also the trigger rules, which we love the trigger rules,
Yes.
automations. So the trigger rules are amazing. So here's one thing that we were able to do. We were able to set up a trigger rule to charge every credit card that's on auto pay on the day of the month that the customer has requested that auto pay go through. So it not only does that for us automatically without us having to lift a finger, but if there's a credit card that's expiring, it automatically updates that through merchant services. So we're not constantly having to get the new credit card, which is a huge time saver. And for all businesses, we have to keep that AR as low as possible, right? We have a customer that says, I want you to call me 3 days in advance. So what usually happens if you don't have help, if your CRM can't help you with that, is somebody's got a sticky note stuck to their computer that says to remember when Mrs. Jones is on the schedule to call her 3 days in advance. In FieldRoutes, we just put a flag on that account, and it'll trigger someone in the office. Just give her a call. There's some things that it will do automatically. Send her an email. We can just ask that it be done in the background. We never have to touch it. So they're huge time savings for us.
So is there anything recently, I know trigger rules are quite recent, but is there anything else that you've implemented that is getting you excited for the future?
FieldRoutes has put out a number of updates, all of which are pretty awesome. And one that we just actually were working on it yesterday and today was a new status, a hold status. So hold allows us to put a customer on hold, pause their auto charges, take them off the schedule or out of the job pool while we follow up with that customer. So for example, if the customer says, I just need to hold for a bit, I'm having financial problems, or I'm having a renovation done, or they haven't paid their bill, it allows us to put them on hold without freezing or canceling the account. And in the background, we can help them. It also allows us, if we have a certain reason, so for example, if it's a financial reason, if they get to like a 60-day status, we can set a trigger rule to say, when any customer hits 60 days, just put them on hold.
So smart. Then you don't have to search for it. It's just happening.
And there's not all these lists. Just asking people, just pull a list and go methodically through the list and check every customer. I mean, honestly, it's so boring. And
I hear that.
I mean, it is. I mean, it's like the kiss of death. But for my team, I would much rather that they spend time connecting with our customers and just spreading that Trad's love than going through a list of accounts.
Yes, absolutely. I want to pivot to your team. I know we
Okay.
talked about company culture and how it's so important to you, and it really feels that it's your superpower, if you will. We talked about this idea previously. Pest control companies, how are they setting themselves apart? You're using the same chemicals, you have the same trucks, you have the same training. So the real difference is the people. How do you ensure your team stands out at Trads?
That's the big nugget, right? The culture nugget. It's the big piece, and it's what makes it fun. And it is the only thing that separates us from the competition. So absolutely right. Even our trucks, it's hard to differentiate the trucks, save the logos. I mean, that's it. The same products, the same research, everything is the same. The only competitive advantage we have is our people. And for us, that means having a culture that aligns with our values. Our value statement here, it's a living, breathing thing that we all embrace, and it's very simple. Be 100%. And that what we define that as is 100% integrity and 100% effort 100% of the time. And it seems so easy. It's a heavy lift, I'll tell you. And there are people that just can't, for whatever reason, it's just not who they are. And that's okay. It just means they can't work here. We'll hire based on that. We'll fire based on that. We have defined behaviors for that. And the thing is, and where it gets really impactful and where it really differentiates the company, we are not who we say we are. We are who our customers say we are. And the customer's perception is reality. So our customers determine our reputation. And reputation and character are the same things. It's just that reputation is how we are seen by our customers, and character is who we actually are. So if we don't have high alignment to our 100% ethic, then that's what our customers see. If we're 50%, that's what our customers see, and that's therefore our reputation. So culture is just huge for us, and we walk it and we talk it and we believe it. It's every day for us, every single day. And it's not only in the way we treat our customers, it's the way we treat each other. It's the way we treat our vendors. It's the way we behave at home. Because you just can't fake character. You really cannot. That is, for us, I think the one thing that sets us apart. It's huge for us.
What are some opportunities for culture building that you have implemented? How do you get your employees to feel that as well?
We get people that come in, and sometimes we're wrong. We do the best we can. We make mistakes. Sometimes we hire people. We bring them on board. We do everything we can. And we made a bad choice. More often, we're correct. And we bring people in. I had someone, we had a pumpkin carving, right? We do that every fall.
That's fun.
And yeah, it's a blast. And one of the guys, I was talking to him, and he said, I love working here. And I said, I'm so glad. And he tells me, I've worked for other companies before, and they say these things, but you can tell everybody's out for themselves. But here, that's not the case. And we talked about it, and he's a great employee. And I guess we don't even call them employees. We just say they're a part of the team. It's not something you teach. It's something that you help people understand. These are our expectations. But things like integrity and effort are ingrained. It's just what you can bring out in people. So my dad used to say, some people are honest because they're honest, and some people are honest because you keep them honest. Some people can hold our values because they hold our values, and some people hold our values because we help them hold those values. So it's in everything we do every day, top down, leaders down, everybody else up, sideways. We have it on the wall. We have a wall where we've defined the 100%, and there's little clouds of behaviors. And sometimes, Amanda, honest to goodness, it's something like bring up the trash can. There's effort in that, right? And sometimes it's in the big things. Just do the right thing. Always work Like there's a camera on you. There's just no place for lack of integrity or lack of effort. We have fun. We do pumpkin carvings. We do egg hunts. We make Valentines. We learn as a team. It's very common for a leader to hop in a vehicle with someone and say, I saw you had this stop. I'm going to go up and help you with it. Just want to make sure you're prepared. It's about being all in and driving success for everyone.
It sounds like you're really living and breathing these ideals. The company has been around since 1971, and you don't have that longevity without keeping up with the trends in technology, but also taking care of that culture. And you guys are doing that work.
We are trying. We are, you know, if I had a nickel for every time I blew it or we blew it, I could probably retire. It honestly, it's about trying all the time and
Yeah.
and just putting your heart into it.
I have to ask, what would be your advice to someone who is looking to define their culture and really hone in on what is important to the company?
Start with why, and I think that's extraordinarily powerful. But I also think that sometimes when we start with why, we think of these great big companies that are wildly successful, and it can feel intimidating. Start with who you want to be and the impact you want to make, and go from there, and then define who can share that vision with you, and honestly, go for it.
Lastly, Denise, before we finish up our interview today, I would love to know, is there anything that you wish we talked about today or anything that you want our listeners to bring home with them?
If you take away anything, is always be open to learning new things and asking the question, how can we do it better?
I love that. I love that. Put it on a poster.
How can we do it
Fantastic.
better?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's perfect.
Thank
Denise,
you.
thank you so much for coming on to Pesting Class today. What an excellent conversation.
Oh, thank you for having me. I'm truly, truly honored and humbled. I appreciate it. Thank you.